This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports in Chaco. We're delighted to be joined once again by our probably, we had Graham on last night, but obviously we have to wait and has been announced. But I'd probably say you're the second most interviewed person in Boxing Tickets NI, Jimmy.
Do you reckon, second most?
I would say so. I think you've about probably about 4 or 5 interviews now.
I suppose we do, man. I always love chatting, man. It's good to be on again.
I think both my missus and your missus will be jealous of the fact that we probably speak to each other more than we speak to them.
Shout out my missus. My missus just stopped a bird in the first round in a club show in Limerick. A really impressive performance. Dropped her 3 times in the first round and the fight was called off. So look out for Sophia Tella. Really talented boxer coming up. Just getting her amateur career underway. She's technically a novice right now, but she's far from it. She'll hold her own with anyone out there. I'm very, very confident in that. So keep an eye out for her. She's coming.
Definitely. I guess obviously it's sometimes when you're a boxer and sometimes you're involved in sports, you need someone behind you that's also in love with the sport. So I guess in some ways it's a marriage made in heaven between the two of you.
Yeah, we've it's a class relationship, man. It's a beautiful relationship and it's classy on a sport level as well. We train a lot together. She motivates me a lot and I like to think I do myself with her. So yeah, right now it's just it's a great thing. It is.
Fantastic.
Thank God for it.
It's great to hear obviously more success coming through. I guess, you know, with your own success, I was just sort of talking off air, you're just over years a pro now. You've only had 2 fights so far, but probably through no fault of your own. Obviously, cards getting cancelled in fight weeks and everything else. Does it sort of realm it back in that you can't sort of look too far ahead in the sport?
Yeah, it really does, man. It's one of those, like, I think that's the thing about boxing that people love. Like, you can see the Premier League fixture is game after game. You know who's playing who. I can tell you, you could probably see the fixtures for next year now. Whereas boxing, like, look at what me and Robbie, that happened fight week. Boxing is just that little bit more unpredictable, and sometimes it works out sometimes it goes against you in terms of fights being pulled out and stuff and whatnot. So it's part of the game, man. I got the busiest summer ahead of me. I got the busiest summer of my life ahead of me, and a very, very important summer. And what the last kind of couple of months have done has got me in peak physical shape. I've been in camp after camp after camp, so I'm good to go now. So I'm grateful for that.
And what would you sort of say to sort of, because, you know, everybody's sort of feeling the rasp of obviously COVID and everything else and boxing restarting properly. What would you sort of give advice to sort of someone where a fight does fall through? What would you sort of say to them? It's, you need to have a really positive attitude in life and just forgetting, obviously, right, you know what, the fight's been cancelled, but you're probably looking at it the right way and going, I'm getting more training in, you know, you're not long in the pro game and you were Muay Thai before that. So is this obviously just helping to bring you along further? Is that what you're looking at the positives?
Yeah, like I had to play catch up, Steve, at the start when I came into the game late. I only started Thai boxing first training session when I was 22 years old, so I'm late to fighting, man. So it gave me, like, when you're in camp, obviously you're sparring, like you have a fight coming up. So I've just been non-stop sparring, non-stop training, and I do genuinely feel, man, honestly, that I've come on a lot in the last few months. I really do. So I'm excited to show it. It means absolutely nothing unless you do it underneath the lights in front of everyone. So get my mind prepared for that. My body's prepared to go now, definitely.
And in 4 weeks' time, we get to see you live in person again. We obviously got to see your second pro fight, the fight of the year, Irish fight of the year with Robbie Burke. We get to see you again in 4 weeks' time in Belfast. Obviously, it'll be your second pro fight in Belfast as well in a different venue. But you were there 2 weeks ago and you got the experience what a Mark Dunlop show was like. I'm sure you just can't wait to get going.
Man, I love Belfast, man. What a town. I actually wasn't there since I was a kid until I fought Robbie up there. And just what a buzz, man. Boxing mad up there. And even at Mark Dunlop's show last weekend or a couple of weekends ago at Graham's fight, what a buzz there as well, man. You know, so I enjoyed seeing all the faces, yourself, everyone again. And like, what a city to fight in. I do think it's my favourite city to fight in. It's just class up there, man. I love it. So probably stay a few days after and then get back to getting the head down and working. But excited to get back to Belfast, man. I do love it up there.
And it looks like the scheduled opponent you're going to have is obviously Graham's opponent from that fight. I guess at the time you probably weren't looking at Seamus Devlin and going, I'm going to be fighting you in 6 weeks' time. Can you remember obviously much about Seamus's performance against Graham that you can take from it?
I can, man. To be honest, I really respect him as a fighter. I know his record doesn't show much, but I came away from that fight that day. So number one, that guy's very, very tough. Number two, his skull looked so hard it didn't look nice to punch it. Number three, I liked his defensive shape, man. He was kind of backed up into the corner, and he had a lovely shape defensively. And sometimes he let go, man, with some shots, and I was like, oh man, if Graham got caught with that, if anyone got caught with that, they would have felt it. And luckily, Graham's head movement was class in the night. He didn't get caught with much, but sometimes Seamus Devlin had a pop, man, and I'm going in there really, really prepared for a tough fight. So won't be overlooking him, man. I thought on the day there was a lot of positives to take from his performance in terms of the way he held his shape and sometimes his shot selection and stuff. I thought he looked quite good. So I'm not taking him lightly at all.
Definitely, there's one thing I should probably take from that fight that, you know, people sometimes think Green coming off of the feet, fighting Seamus Devlin, he's sort of there as a rollover. His record doesn't obviously show as much, but his game as a badger, he comes forward and he comes to fight, and he's there to entertain as well. And that's what the paying public want. They want someone that's coming to fight you to come and give you a go and test you.
But that's it, man. And I was only watching him on YouTube now, guy. He's a bare knuckle boxer as well. So fair play to the guy, man. I'm not taking him lightly. And he threw some shots that they were scary looking uppercuts, and I don't want to be on the end of him. So I need to go in there, get the job done, respect this guy. And he's getting the best me. Definitely he's getting the best me. So I'm prepared, and I'm preparing for the best him. I respect him as a fighter, I do.
I guess in some ways, probably for Seamus, it's probably going to be bad news because the frustration of obviously the fight cards being pulled and everything else. You're going to be like a cage bear. Oh, lost you for a second. You're going to be like a cage bear. Obviously, coming the 25th of June, you have a lot of frustration to get out in the ring, and hopefully Seamus can obviously hold up to it. But you know, I'm expecting obviously a big performance from you.
Yeah, well, it's on me, Steve, isn't it, to kind of control that, man, and not be an idiot and go out there. And like I've been guilty in the past, even in spar, Sean has really had to control that. Sometimes I enjoy a fight a little bit too much, which doesn't suit my frame. You know what I mean? I'm really, really rangy for the weight class, so I need to get used to keeping people at the edge of my range and working from there. So I need to control my emotion on the night, stay smart and win and get what I have to get done. I've a busy summer ahead that I can't touch on too many things, but really exciting stuff, man. Really exciting stuff. So the gym Monday.
And obviously sharing a card with Graham as well. Obviously, I know you and Graham's been friends for quite a while. Obviously being able to share a card with him, and we obviously can't go too much into this fight with Dominic just yet, but obviously there's going to be a lot of Limerick fans in Belfast for the night, and there's going to be quite a buzz.
Yeah, sure. Graham's the man. Graham has a big fan base down here, man. Graham, like, so much time for the guy, man. I really do. And he's what a story. What a story. Do you know what I mean? If I don't know, we need to post that to some producer or something, like get a flick made out of it or something, like, because what a story behind him. I know Graham my whole life, and it's class to see where he's at now, man. And I genuinely mean that, man. The respect I have for that fella. He's a funny dude. He's the hardest worker I know. And he's a great character to be around, bro, and a good friend, a very, very good friend too. So proud to be on the card beside him. Excited because he'll bring half Limerick up with him. I'm a good ticket seller myself, but Graham sells a lot of tickets, man. So excited to be on that card that night, and the Europa is going to be loud, man.
Definitely, I can't wait for it itself. Obviously, the talk of obviously you and Robbie Burke. Obviously, I know there's been stipulations set by the BUA. It meant that fight can be rematched. Do you sort of have to look elsewhere now? Obviously, potentially fighting for a belt yourself. Obviously, I know Kevin Cronin's potentially coming down the super middle as well. Do you have your eyes sort of, where do you have your eyes in the domestic scene at the moment?
The domestic scene, I have a lot of respect for the fighters that are out there. I think it's the best division in the country at the minute, man. Kevin's coming down potentially, yeah. No, I respect him as a fighter. I respect everyone in the division. I'm open to fighting anyone. I've proved that already. They're the fights I want, man. I don't want to be costing myself money fighting. I want to make a couple of quid, prove I'm the best. I do believe I'm the best in the division. I do believe that. So I have to beat these guys to prove it. I respect him as a fighter. I think John Coffey, I don't know. I don't know. Did I hear? I heard something during the week. I don't know if he's available to fight anymore. But I respect those guys, man, as boxers. I do. Like, I think they're good boxers. I really do. I think Kevin's a good boxer. And I think that fight will happen down the line. And what a good domestic matchup, man. I think he sells a few tickets. I can sell a few tickets myself. We can make a couple quid and we can find out who's the best.
Definitely, and that's what boxing's all about. Sometimes we know they make money where you can. Obviously, some other brilliant news for you today, which is obviously just breaking, and we've been given permission to obviously speak on it. You've obviously signed with Ian Gallagher as your new manager.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's Ian's a top bloke, man. A very, very a nice character, and I'm excited to partner up with him, man. He seems like I only actually met him face to face at the Europa that night, also, and the guy's a really ambitious character, and I think it's a good time to be partnering up with him. It's a good symbiotic relationship, I believe, and what I can bring to the table from a marketability standpoint. Excuse me. And I believe in that guy as a professional also. I think he's coming up in the game. He's hungry. He's working hard. I think the proof is in the pudding, what he's already been able to provide for me. So happy to sign with him and excited for the future, man.
And obviously, touching on Ian, obviously he's had Graham obviously there already, but Graham's only given his 4th fight in 9 months. I guess the proof's in the pudding there. He's getting Graham fights. You want fights. If he can get you fights, then it's it's the best thing that can happen.
Do I want fights?
I was saying, sorry, I think the signal was breaking a bit there. Ian's got obviously Graham 4 fights in 9 months. You want fights. Obviously, if Ian can get you fights, it's the best partnership they have.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Ian's keeping fellas busy. He's keeping fellas busy, no doubt. And he's well connected, and he's presenting me with the opportunities I need already. So no, man, the guy's I need to be busy. He'll keep me busy, I've no doubt.
Definitely, and obviously touching on, and I know that Kieran from Boxing Bands touched on the other week, but obviously you're now released from Boxing Ireland Promotions, and your old manager Stephen Sharp's walked away from the game. Obviously, I guess sometimes people see boxing probably as an easy sport at times, but as a managerial sort of purpose, there's a lot of stress and strain involved with it. I'm sure you'd obviously like to pass on your regards to Stephen.
I do, man, to be quite honest. Just alone to have the faith in me, man, at the start, it means the world to me, man. It means the world to me. I say the same to Leonard Gunning. Really enjoyed working with the two lads. I really did, man. Leonard obviously managed me for my last fight against Robbie, while Stephen looked after Robbie himself. But great relationship with Leonard, great relationship with Stephen, and I thank the two of them. Honestly, man, I hope to be in a position one day where I can make a fella's dreams reality. And that's what they did for me and signing me that day, because I can push on from it now. It gave me the platform I needed, got me on my feet, and now it's in my hands. But they gave me the opportunity to have it in my hands. So I can't thank them enough. Grateful, and best luck with Stephen and his future endeavours. And no doubt, knowing Leonard, he'll be around the game for many years to come.
Definitely, and fingers crossed. Obviously, boxing Ireland can keep going, because the sport in itself, even for fighters, is tough. But from a promoter's standpoint and everything else, if they can't put fight cards together, it's obviously a very cruel game for them as well.
Exactly.
We know it's a Saturday afternoon, the sun's shining in Limerick, by the looks of things. We'll obviously let you go and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'm sure we'll catch up again in Belfast in a few weeks' time.
Oh man, thank you, Steve. God bless,
Right,
bro.
cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, take care.
You're a gentleman.
Speak soon.
Love you,
Cheers. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Best.